Hey everybody, it's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. So today we've got some more feeding to do for these bees. It is the beginning of February and we are having a little bit of a warming event here in Kentucky. So it's getting into the lower to mid 50s. And when this happens, the bees start to become a lot more active. They're going to go out and try to forage. They're going to go try to bring back some water back into the hive. They're trying to find any food source that they can possibly find. If there's anything blooming at all this time of year, I've heard maybe red maple in this area, but a lot of what they're going to be gathering is like feed from farmers and stuff. So maybe some corn dust, things of that nature. I have seen little bit of off-white colored pollen coming into the hives. So the girls are definitely out taking their bathroom breaks, happy to be outside and not clustered anymore. And so again, that means that they could really start burning through their food. So what does that mean for us? Well, I'm going to add some more feed. I checked the sugar bricks recently on a few of them, but I haven't checked all of them. So I need to go back and look again. And what I plan on doing is adding this HiveAlive Fondant. So I bought this, I don't know, about a week ago or so. It just arrived and I've never used this product before, but I know other beekeepers that swear by it. And what this is this particular package. It comes in either liquid form or in this fondant, which you would want to use during the winter time. Liquid form, when you're wanting to feed syrup, you'd add a little bit to your syrup. I do have some of the liquid as well, and I'll show you that in a future video. But here's what the HiveAlive Fondant Patty looks like. It weighs 2 pounds and 4 ounces, so it's got some decent weight to it. It is a fondant, which is, you can Wikipedia what a fondant is, but it's essentially sugar that has additives to it, like gelatin, to make it more of a I'm trying to think of a good consistency, almost like a Play-Doh type consistency. It's super sticky, just like a sugar would be. And what's nice about this product is that it has vitamins in it, it's got amino acids in it, and it has seaweed in it. Yes, dried seaweed meal, which evidently is beneficial and healthy for bees. Who'd have thought? It also has some lemongrass oil in it. The back of the package gives you kind of the method on how you do the feeding. The front of it says very fine particles, size sugar for enhanced digestion. This evidently helps the bee's gut. Sugar flat patty for easy placement close to the cluster. Studies have shown that HiveAlive increases brood and honey production and improves overwinter success. It promotes intestinal well-being, contains scientifically extracted Irish seaweed extracts exclusively for bees, with added vitamins and amino acids selected for bee health and to help meet the nutritional needs of colonies. No high fructose corn syrup, produced using enzymatic hydrolysis, thereby avoiding the introduction of harmful HMF. So, I've never used it before, but I'm excited to use it. Like I said, I have some friends that swear by it, and they have said that they've noticed a difference in their bees. So, how are we going to apply this? Well, that's the million-dollar question for me, and I was sitting here scratching my head trying to think about it, asking my dad if he had any ideas. And so I will pose the question to you all as well, my audience, if you have any ideas on the best way to feed this. Now, the standard way that you're supposed to feed this to your colonies is without a Vivaldi board, which you all know that I use, and without any quilt boxes, maybe. They specifically designed this very thin and flat, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick, so that you can lay this directly on top of the frames inside the deep, wherever the cluster is. Typically, you're going to have a cluster maybe in the middle, off to the side a little bit. You would cut a hole in the top of this patty, take that plastic off, exposing the fondant, and you would place that face down directly over the cluster. This allegedly is flat enough that you could then take your inner cover or your crown board, put that on, put your telescoping outer cover over top of that. You're done. Your bees have access to 2 pounds, 4 ounces of HiveAlive Fondant. As you all know, I use these Vivaldi boards. So I was sitting here thinking, what are my options? So one option would be take off all the Vivaldi boards, set the fondant in there just like they would, and put the Vivaldi board back. Certainly that is an option. What are the pros and cons of that? Well, the upside, I can put an entire full patty in there, call it good. The downside is that I have to crack open the hive. Now, in 52-degree weather, that's not a huge deal. It's not a big deal at all. However, I am breaking the seal all around the hive that the bees have worked very hard to propolize, right? And every time I would have to refill this or check how much is left, I would have to crack this again. Well, we're only in February, which means there still could be some very cold days left here in Kentucky. And so if that's the case, it's just harder to check on how much food reserves they have. And I really don't want to keep breaking the seal. So I eliminated that as an option for now. I always hold the option to go back on any of this. So what I plan to do is take this Reflectix out and, you know, the burlap, which you all have seen in my other videos. And a lot of times our Vivaldi boards have that inner shim. So I even thought, oh, I'll just cut this into fourths. I'll place that in the inner shim inside here, just a fourth of it. And that way the bees can't get here inside the quilt box, inside the Vivaldi board. Well, the downside of that is I'm only feeding a fourth of a patty. I don't want to feed a fourth of a patty because now I have to come out 4 times as often and check on the food stores to see where they're at. They could probably blow through a quarter of this pretty quickly. So now what am I going to do? Well, if you read on the package here on the back, it says you can place this directly on the frames or place the opening over the hole in the crown board or directly over brood frames. So what I think I'm going to do is, as you all can see, these Vivaldi boards have a hole, just almost like an inner cover would. I'm going to cut a circle out of this HiveAlive logo, and I'm just going to place it directly on the Vivaldi board like that. So pros and cons. Well, pros, I get to feed a colony an entire patty's worth, right? So I'm not coming back as often. Downside is I'm a little worried. Yes, it has some weight initially, but I'm a little worried somehow those girls are going to find a way to get inside my quilt box, inside the Vivaldi board here, and I don't know, make a mess. I don't think they would comb up, although here in about a month, bees are going to start to be in comb building mode as that queen starts ramping up. And I think if I put the burlap over top of that, number one, it's going to help keep this from drying out. You do not want this fondant to dry out because I've heard the bees would even stop taking it if it dries out. Again, I have no direct experience with HiveAlive, so we're going to learn this together. And then put the Reflectix on top of that. I think this would be enough weight to sort of keep that, you know, keep that patty sort of face down and not let the bees really escape within the space here, but be able to get inside the package and lick this completely clean. That's my thought. So that's what I plan to do on the 10 hives today. I'm going to go out in the yard here in a minute, and I'm going to put this on all 10 hives, even if there's sugar brick in some of them in that shim. I want to feed this HiveAlive because I'm anxious to see if I can tell a difference in terms of the spring buildup with these queens, and if it really does help promote brood rearing, which the queens are going to be, they're probably already doing it, quite honestly, because if you're seeing the bees start to bring pollen into their hive, that is your first signal that they are rearing brood. So the bees, especially with this warmer than normal weather we're having right here, it could be crazy this spring. So I guess I am going to go out here in the apiary and I'm going to try this method. So what I want from my audience, my fellow beekeepers, if you've used this before, what is your experience like using the HiveAlive patties, and how do you feed it to your hives? Do you do the standard way where you place it directly on the frames? That's a lot of the YouTube videos that I've watched. That's the method I see a lot of people doing, but not everybody uses these Vivaldi boards. I personally really like them. And so anybody out there that uses a Vivaldi board that's also used this HiveAlive fondant, I would really like to know your method. I think going forward, if these become my standard go-to winter feeding and I see a significant benefit from them that justifies the cost, because don't quote me on this, but I think 15 of these patties at 2 pounds and 4 ounces was $80 on almost every website, whether it's HiveAlive's website themselves or a lot of the common popular vendors out there like Better Bee and Man Lake and Data, etc. So $80, I mean, that's a lot of money. So is the juice worth the squeeze, so to speak? Am I going to see a return on my investment in terms of much stronger colonies going into the spring? And stronger colonies going into the spring turns into more honey production, just healthier bees, healthier colonies, better opportunities to perform splits. Maybe you want to keep expanding and building your apiary and you've got nukes. Maybe you want to sell some nukes. Whatever the case may be, we want happy, healthy bees. And that means good nutrition and dead mites. So I am anxious to give this a try. And if I see a benefit, I think next year, my dad and I may just build some new shims. And I just build a shim that this fits perfectly inside of in here with the number 8 hardware cloth on top, just like you've seen in my other videos with the sugar brick shims that I use, but just make it bigger so that this fits perfectly inside. And then there's zero chance that any bees are going to get within this quilt insulated area where I have the burlap and the Reflectix material. So that's my plan. So why don't you all come with me? We'll go out to the yard here and we will light the smoker and go ahead and get these HiveAlive Fondant Patties on all of the colonies. All right, let's get started on the first one here. I may end up running out of daylight. I don't know if I'll get through all 10 colonies today. We're just going to have to see how it goes. See how quickly I can get these on. The bees aren't really out flying right now. You see the condensation on this one, so that tells me they're going to be up in the top here. I'll go ahead and put my hood on. All right, let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah. They've still got quite a bit of sugar brick left, which is fine. Now, since it's still pretty warm out here in the 50s, I am going to give them a little bit of smoke, try to get the colony to go down there. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and have this ready so that I can just turn around and put it right on top of the hole there. So I think, obviously, you want to make sure. I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab that inner cover and use that as kind of a cutting board. Just want to make sure you don't cut through, obviously, all the way through it. So just going to puncture the top plastic here, get underneath, try to cut a opening somewhat in the middle, peel it back here. Doesn't have to be perfect. The bees will find it. Just want enough of an opening they can get in there. All right. And this stuff's expensive, so I don't want to waste any. Try to get it all scraped off. And it's real soft, this fondant's very pliable. Like I said, you want to leave this plastic because you don't want it to dry out. So set this aside. Set the patty aside here. See if I can get these bees to go down a little bit. Of course, the smoker's wanting to go out on me. Had it sitting too long. It's going, just takes some time to get these relit sometimes. You just gotta be patient. Especially if your smoking source isn't lit yet, which I was trying to rush a little bit since I'm running out of daylight. All right, that'll be pretty good. Try that. Try to get them bees back down in there. And they're going down. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but they're definitely going back down in the colony. There'll be some stragglers up here. You're not going to get every single one. You just want to try to get the majority to go back down. And I'm just doing small little puffs. I'm not drowning them in smoke. And it's just really the top shim here. Just trying to get the bees to want to go back in the colony. So let's see. We might be able to shake the rest of them out here. There we go. The rest of these will go flying. But you can see they still had quite a bit of sugar brick left, and I'm certainly not going to waste this. I'm going to set that sugar brick off to the side and use it later. So what we're going to do is just going to shake the rest of these bees out right at the hive entrance here. That'll set them flying. And with this sugar brick being pretty hard, that's why it's not falling out. Well, not all of it's falling out. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side. The rest of those bees over the next few minutes will fly off. Give them a little bit of smoke here, just trying to encourage them to go down. Go on. There we go. All right. Now let's get our fondant on. Turn it upside down like so. Make sure you get it over that entrance. I'm sorry, that hole. Got one little straggler here. I try to get all there. Go on, fly. Go on. Get all the bees out. And that's that. And again, I'm just hoping that we're going to find out the weight of this burlap keeps it from moving or anything, and the bees don't get all in here. If they do, I am going to change my strategy because I don't want bees in here. That's the whole point. So, and hopefully they like that stuff. I'm hoping to come back in maybe a week or so and check and see how much these colonies have taken down. Okay, so that's it for the first one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. All the bees were definitely out flying. Yeah, see that moisture? All the bees were definitely out flying earlier today. I don't know if you're seeing that on the camera. That's all from their breath. The cluster up here, exhaling. And so, yeah, these definitely need some more food. So they've got just a little bit of sugar brick left there. So we'll go ahead and try to get them to go back in the hive here. They've combed up a little bit. I may have to scrape some of that off. They've got a little bit of comb up top here that they've made. Just going to give them a few minutes here to try to go back down. Like I said, all of them will not do that, but you'll get a fair amount. You just kind of smoke around the square here, the shim. Just little puffs of smoke. And it's not disrupting the main cluster in the hive. These are just bees that are up here at the top in this sugar brick. All right, we'll shake the rest of them out. So make sure we don't see our queen up here, but I mean, that would be so rare. That would be very weird. No, we're good. Shake those bees out. Okay, I got most of them. Try to get these flying. All right. Let's see what we got here with this little bit of comb here. Nothing. I always check to see if there's maybe any eggs in there or anything. You just never know. Get this sugar out of the way here. Try to get these bees up and flying. Go on. All right, let's cut our next hole. There we go. Someone will probably ask if this has much of a smell to it. Not really. You can smell the thymol or the lemongrass that's in there. I can't remember if there's thymol in here. Hang on. I don't see it listed. So that's probably the... Oh, wait. Thyme. Yes, it is in there. So you can smell that. You can smell the lemongrass a little bit. All right, let's get the rest of these bees down. Come on, get in there. Get out of the way. There we go. All right, let's get this. Well, you guys have to get out of the way. Don't want to get squished. There we go. Make sure I got that over the hole. Double check. Yes. Okay. All right. Get the rest of the bees out flying, so we can get our burlap back in, because I do not want any bees in this quilt box. There we go. Not too bad. Go ahead and cover them back up here. Let's get our Reflectix back on. Okay. All right, good deal. Another one in the books. So let's do one more and on camera, and then I'll finish the rest and let you all know how it goes. Okay, let's do our last one here. Well, last one on camera anyway. So far, it's not been too bad. It's going pretty quick. It's just all, it's always a struggle kind of to get those bees out of that shim, but that's expected. Unless the food is completely gone, it's about the only time they're not up in there. Let's see. Oh, this is that one I think last time that hadn't eaten any of the sugar bricks, so this one may be easier. Oh, they just started. So this is that colony that's been pretty frugal for me. But as you can see, they just came up there. So I'm gonna smoke them down here a little bit, and hopefully this one will be easier. Because last time I checked this, they hadn't touched the sugar brick. All right, let's see what we got here. got just a few bees. They're not happiest to see me this time of day, but I'll just shake them out there. Not too bad. Let's get them out of here. Okay. And let's go ahead and cut the patty open. That's the only thing I think, you know, after doing this now just 3 times, I would recommend HiveAlive is to develop some sort of pre-perforated, ooh, they're mad. They are not happy. They came right at me there. Sorry, prefabricated opening here or something to where I can just not sit here and fuss with this and try to make somewhat of a nice circle. Just have them have it to where, you know, just peels right back, like almost like a the same concept as baby wipes, if you know what I mean, where you just, it's already perforated, you poke it and it peels right back. I think that would work great here. These girls are a little testy, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this on. I suppose I would be too if somebody was opening my roof like this, but I come in peace with food. All right, let's get this straggler out of the way. Okay. All right. Another one in the books. So yeah, HiveAlive, if by any chance you're watching this, I would recommend one design change, and I would put a perforated opening there around your label to where the beekeeper can just quickly puncture it and peel it back and peel it off. I think that would work great, in my humble opinion. All right, bees, everybody off. All right. Okay, so that's the video. So initial thoughts, at least as far as application, pretty easy. I've already given my one recommendation that I would give to HiveAlive, but other than that, HiveAlive, sorry. But other than that, that was pretty easy to apply, and I'm hopeful that my thought process on just putting it directly over the Vivaldi hole there doesn't come back to bite me. But I think it's going to work. So time will tell. I'm pretty much out of daylight, so I'm going to stop for today. I will get the other 7 colonies completed tomorrow. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer anyway, so that's good. But the sun is quickly setting, and I have to go pick my son up from the Y anyway. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll be sure to keep you posted. I'll do a follow-up video on how the bees are consuming the fondant, if they are consuming it, what they look like in the package. I'll be sure to show you that, if they're getting everything in there okay, if they were able to escape inside the quilt board. I suspect they will start to propolize around that plastic opening that I did, is kind of my theory. So we'll see how that works. I just really don't want the bees inside the quilt box. It just makes a mess, and you gotta suit up every time and smoke them out and stuff, kind of like you were seeing here. So I try to prevent that from happening. So anyway, hopefully you all liked this video. If you did, give it the thumbs up. And until next time, happy beaking.